There was a specific moment when your dog first decided you were safe. Not a gradual process. A moment. And you almost certainly missed it entirely. Most owners assume trust builds slowly over months, but your dog made their first safety assessment of you within hours of meeting you, based on signals you were giving without knowing it, and that assessment shaped everything that came after. By the end of this video you will know exactly what your dog was measuring in those first hours, what specific signals told them you were safe, and when the exact moment of decision happened, and what changed in them the second it did. Stay until the end, because the last signal your dog read before deciding you were safe is one you give every single day without knowing it. And once you understand it you will never see that moment the same way again. Let's start. Your dog decided whether you were safe within the first few hours of meeting you. Not weeks. Not months. Hours. Research into canine threat assessment has found that dogs form primary safety evaluations of new humans extraordinarily quickly, using a combination of scent, movement patterns, body language and eye contact to reach a conclusion most owners never realize has already been made. The assessment is not conscious on your dog's part. It is biological. Their nervous system runs the evaluation automatically, processing hundreds of signals simultaneously, building a picture of who you are before you have said a single meaningful word to them. By the time you thought you were still getting to know each other, your dog had already decided. The question was always whether the answer was yes. Do you remember the moment your dog first really relaxed around you? The first time they let their guard down completely? Comment below. I want to know what that moment looked like. I read every single one. Your dog was measuring 4 specific things in those first hours, and none of them were what most owners assume. Not whether you fed them. Not whether you played with them. Not whether you were warm or enthusiastic or demonstrative. They were measuring your movement quality, whether you moved smoothly or erratically, calmly or with unpredictable energy. They were measuring your scent profile, what your cortisol levels said about your baseline stress state. They were measuring your eye contact, whether it was soft and available or hard and demanding. And they were measuring your response to their signals, whether you noticed when they communicated discomfort and adjusted. A person who moves calmly, smells relaxed, makes soft eye contact and responds to signals reads as safe to a dog before a single interaction has occurred. There was one signal above all others that told your dog you were safe. And it was the one you gave without any conscious intention. You gave them space. Not because you were told to. Not because you read it in a book. But because something in you understood, or simply felt, that this animal needed room to make their own choice. And that space, that absence of pressure, that willingness to let them come to you instead of going to them, registered in your dog's assessment as the clearest possible signal. Safe people do not crowd. Safe people do not demand. Safe people make space and wait. Your dog read that in you. And it mattered more than anything else you did. If you just realized you gave your dog exactly what they needed in those first moments without even knowing you were doing it, hit like right now. This is the science behind something you felt was true. The moment your dog decided you were safe was not invisible. It was written in their body. You just did not know what you were looking at. Research into canine stress physiology identifies a specific cluster of physical changes that accompany the transition from threat assessment to safety confirmation. The muscles along the spine release. The fur lies flat where it had been slightly raised. The tail moves from a tense neutral position to a loose natural hang. The breathing deepens and slows. The eyes soften from a hard alert focus to the warm open gaze that becomes your dog's default expression around you. That full body release, that exhale, was the moment. Everything before was assessment. Everything after was love. Here is the part most owners never think about. Once your dog decided you were safe, that decision became the foundation of everything. Every behavior they have shown you since, every lean, every chin rest, every soft gaze, every morning check, every time they rested their chin on you and stayed, all of it was built on the conclusion they reached in those first hours. The trust you see now is not separate from that first moment. It is the same moment deepened, extended, confirmed over and over by every day you have spent together. But here is what makes it extraordinary. Your dog did not decide you were safe because you were perfect. They did not decide you were safe because you never made a mistake or raised your voice or had a bad day. They decided you were safe because of something more fundamental than behavior, because of who you are underneath the behavior. The quality of presence you carry. The stillness inside you that their nervous system could read before your conscious mind knew it was there. They did not choose you because of what you did. They chose you because of what you are. And once they decided, they never undecided. This is what I mentioned at the beginning. The last signal your dog read before deciding you were safe. The one you give every single day without knowing it? Your breath. Dogs can detect the specific chemical signature of calm breathing versus stress breathing with extraordinary precision. The ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide in your exhaled breath, the trace compounds released through your lungs during different emotional states. All of it is readable to a dog standing near you. In those first hours, your dog was not just watching you. They were breathing you in, reading the chemistry of your exhalations, asking a question your lungs were answering without your permission. And what your breath told them, your calm ordinary breath, the breath of someone simply being present without aggression or fear, was the last piece of information they needed. You breathed. They decided. You were safe. It was that simple. And that profound. Your dog assessed you in the first hours. Measured your movement. Read your scent. Watched your eyes. Felt your space. And then they exhaled. That exhale was the decision. The moment everything shifted. The moment you became safe. They have been building on that moment ever since. Every single thing they have ever done for you started there. And if you want to understand what your dog does every single day to confirm that decision was right, the next video will show you something that happens every morning before you even wake up. If you just understood something about the first moment your dog chose you, subscribe to the Dog Mind. Every week we decode one thing your dog has been doing that you never fully understood. Your dog decided you were safe a long time ago. Subscribe and finally understand everything they have been saying since.